Welcome in to the half. Feels like I was just talking, Eric.
Yeah, it seems like we were just doing a show like a minute ago.
It
Oh,
does.
wait,
Oh,
we
we were.
were just doing
We
a show a
were.
minute ago.
A little bonus time on Two Radio Guys today, but welcome into the half here with myself, Aaron Montgomery, and the man, the myth, the legend, Batman, Erich Campbell.
I don't know if I get that one. I will say today, I feel like we are definitely superheroes. It's like we ran into the into the phone booth like Superman used to do when we had phone booths, and we changed our gear and ran right back out to do the half. Like,
and for those of you that are not familiar with what a phone booth is, this was this old thing. This big glass box. No, I was kidding. All right. All right. So let's see who we've got checking in here. Ramona.
Yes.
Hey.
Ramona. Good
Thanks
to have
for
you here.
being here.
Aaron.
So what's how do you pronounce it?
Aaron.
Oh my gosh, I've been calling it Arnett. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I actually got this on my show because you guys don't know from the Take Up. Aaron is one of my viewers, one of my reciprocators from the Take Up, and corrected me because I was saying Areen. I was really hitting that pronunciation
you were
hard.
Way close.
I was doing it wrong too.
You were way better, for sure. All right, well, Aaron, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good.
I'd spent the entire Two Radio Guys show calling you the wrong name, so.
I didn't jump in, but I wanted to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right. Well, thank you. So, Frank, good afternoon. I appreciate you being here. Audrey, hello.
Hello, Audrey.
And
Bill's
Bill, good morning,
afternoon.
Bill. Todd.
Wow, we got people. Yeah, Ree. I'm hoping, Ree. Happy to have you in.
No, it's definitely Ree. I know Ree. Yep, it's Ree.
Right on.
Fantastic. Viv from New Zealand. We're totally international
awesome.
today.
International now. Going for it.
Yeah.
Creator of Embrilliance and embroidery genius himself, Brian Bailey. Hiya, man. Happy to have you in.
Appreciate you being here, Brian. Thanks for that. And Gail, good morning.
Thank you, Gail. See, I love when people do that. I've got a bunch of people who come in from their business accounts, and I'm like, thank you for giving me your name.
Thanks,
so I don't just go Kingsbury Craft, though admittedly you get free advertising on that one.
Yeah. And it says it's okay. It's a common mistake. Now, it is a common mistake, I'm sure, but not as far off as I was. I didn't even come close, but that's okay.
I'm also gonna say, like, this is my wife. Her name is Celeste, and she gets everything else: Clarice, Chelsea, names that have nothing to do with her name. So I mean, it happens a fair amount. People do that stuff.
Right. Awesome. All right, and we've got Michelle and Todd says, "I like this show. It never goes to bonus time.
It never does."
And we'll jump on that in just 1 second here.
For sure.
Valerie, good morning. And Lori, hello. Mike says,
Muldowney, reciprocator general. He invented the term reciprocators from other shows. So much love to Mike.
Yeah. Mike says, how's it going? Don't burn up the whole half saying hi. We might do that.
Yeah,
you guys keep saying hello. We'll keep saying hello back.
Keep saying hi.
But let us know what you guys want to talk about. And we'll go there. Karen, good morning. Good friend of mine, Karen, who's actually part of the Success Principles program with me. So I appreciate having Karen here. And Becky joining in, and there we go.
I'm trying to defend people with funky names because I got them. I got it. Erich was not the thing I asked for.
Yeah. That actually was not my fault though, so I cannot take credit for that.
That's Terry's fault.
Yeah. So Valerie says, except the part when it stops mid-sentence, and I was interested in the answer, and we'll get back to that. I did actually write it down, and we have it.
See, he actually went and continued. The first time when I got cut off, I knew it was coming, and I just kept talking, knowing I was going to get cut off. Though I'm going to tell you, everybody was like, "Oh, it's so shocking. Are you guys all right?" After that, I'm like, we laugh so hard when that cut comes. You guys have no idea. One of these days, I'm going to record the portion of us cracking up when the cut hits, because I think that's probably the best part of the show for us.
Yes. Well, and the great part is, the first time you said you knew it was coming, obviously I should know it was coming, and I had no clue. I'm like, oh, and that's what made me laugh so hard.
Admittedly, I took great pleasure in cutting.
You did.
That was fun.
So Brian says, who is making a book on the presenter that will get the final word on the half today? So
I still feel who wants to hit the bet on that one, right?
All right. And get those questions in here. Good morning, Catherine. And hi guys from Soggy and C, Nan. And hello,
Cindy's
Dale.
in Texas. Love the backgrounds. Tech guy's awesome. Yeah, that'd be Aaron. Aaron's taking care of that today.
I get to be tech guy on this one. So Ramona says, so is it wrong that I'm slowing my work some? I enjoy it, but I am a one-person shop and don't want to work 14 hours a day anymore.
I am a terrible person to ask about this because I have a tendency to work off hours, odd hours, and long hours. But I'll also say that I can't leave stuff alone and I want to do it. If it's something that's not feeding you, I feel like, yeah, you have to have some boundaries. And also, if you don't recharge, if you keep going to a well, the well will eventually be dry if you don't let it recharge.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing that I would suggest in that regard, Ramona, is so typically what I've discovered is people that have got so much work to do, obviously they're doing a really good job at it. But you actually have control over that in your pricing, right? So for me, the perfect price for the product is where you're getting the right amount of customers, but you're not getting so many customers that you can't keep up. Right. So if you've got so many customers you can't keep up, you're probably priced a little bit too low. That's just obviously that's really general. I don't know everything. So this is kind of a general statement, but that's one way that you could play that to control that spread, that slow it down a little bit.
Well, and I'll say that for those of you who are worried about shortening your workup, the other thing to look for are evergreen things that keep paying off. There's a lot of things that pay more than once. Digital content, stock design work, stuff like that. It's not always easy to do that kind of stuff, and there's a lot that can go not as well with it. But think about some evergreen stuff you can spend some of your time on that then continues to pay and is continual, not job work. And I know for digitizers and embroiderers, that's not always what we're great at, but it's something to think about.
Yep, exactly. All right. So Brian says if you play the aftermath, it could be the quarter.
I know. I threatened Aaron last week because he was making jokes about stuff, and Terry's like, "Oh, Eric just won't show up if you do that to him." And I said, "Yeah, join Aaron by himself for the quarter." I was like,
I think it would still be 30 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
All right. But Bill says someday you can compile a show with nothing but the last 20 seconds of each show. Yeah.
I think that would be great to just see us all refuted and cut off.
Yeah. So you could just do a show that is only like a minute long, and it's just like the last word, and you have one question. You get one.
And it's a minute, and then we can fit it on TikTok, and
yeah,
just a minute of us getting cut off.
I thought if we were on TikTok, I had a dance or something like that.
Like you don't have to. I mean,
do kids still do the one thing where they, I don't know,
flossing? No,
flossing. Yes.
No, nobody does that.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Ramona says I've done that. I raised my fees 2 years ago and got busier. I'm in the general market of competition, so my fees are good. Just busy.
Cool. I'll say this, especially if you feel like you're about to slip on your quality, if you feel like things are about to go badly, pull back before. Recovering from burnout is way harder than preventing it. And like I said, I am once again not the person to tell anybody this. I'm not great at it. And I'll say this: here's inside baseball for all of my articles. A lot of my early articles were from a company I was with that eventually failed, and they were me saying, "Boy, I sure wish someone would listen to the things that are not going right."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of things you learn and you teach because you have suffered yourself. And I'll tell you this. Yeah, it's easier by far to prevent burnout than to come back from it.
Sure. I mean, I spent a good chunk of my career with that, kind of content idea going, okay, I've said it. Nobody wants to listen. So I'm going to keep saying it to other people that want to listen and go over there. So,
yeah. And Brian's got a point there. Yeah. Maybe part-time help. It may also be worthwhile to look at partnering with somebody else who does what you do. I know you digitize, and outsourcing on digitizing can be hit or miss, but it might be worthwhile partnering with somebody else and seeing how that works. Just depends on, you got to be real careful with your dream team there.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe worthwhile.
And Eric, I'm going to show my ignorance about digitizing here real quick,
sure.
but is it the potential case where maybe some of it can be automated, kind of the front end? I'm kind of thinking like a color separation software for screen printers. Not really. Okay.
Not really. What I'm going to say is this: it would be more likely for me. What I'd say is, whenever you're looking to offload workload, I'm looking at what is it that is not important that I do that's busy work. I would be looking at part-time help for office stuff and taxes and bookkeeping and that kind of stuff. I feel like that would, if that's part of your day that caused that 14 hours, I'd be looking at virtual assistant for something else for the other materials. Because if your skilled art is in digitizing, if that's where the skill is, if that's where the work is, that's when I would say that's something to think about. That's where you may want to keep yourself. If you are best suited doing that and not sales, then offload marketing, offload office work, offload whatever. So that's, again, I'll say for digitizing, the only thing I can say for speed and digitizing is, certainly managing information, proofs, stuff like that, having a system for that helps you do that without doing it manually, job management, maybe.
Yep.
But
yep. I like that. And yeah, like I said, there are other parts of running a business besides the actual piece of doing the digitizing in this case that might be worthwhile to offload. I know for me, I use a lady through iWorker.com, I think it is. And she's fantastic. It just like all the stuff that I need help with, I can send that over to her and it costs me $7 an hour. So it's like,
and actually, I got to bring in Ramona's thing. I'll say this. Tried that, and I tested my work too. Machine takes time. I've tried help. They just don't see what I see. Yeah, and that can be the case. There's stuff that I will, without letting go what it was or where it was, I've had other digitizers work on stuff for me that I just had to say no. Because in the end, it's like some things require precision. And if you can't find the precision person and you're the one who does it, then that can happen. But then, totally. And Brian says that too. You're not alone. We understand that very much. Yes, we do. And you just have to sometimes, find a way to stay happy and healthy. And if that means you take on a little less work, then sometimes that's how it goes, especially if your pricing is going well and you're making the money you need to make. I mean, that's okay. It's okay to sometimes slow down, and it feels scary that somebody's going to go to competition, but sometimes that's just the best way you can handle it.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Okay, good. All right. So, I want to get to what Karen said here in just a second too, Eric. Good one, long one. Martha, hello. But before we do that, I'll just finish what I was saying last time. Yeah. Right. Should I do that before we get too far away?
Sure. Go for it.
And I will be quick about it. So the question was, what decorating technique would you start with? Right.
Yeah.
And my answer to that is not. I'm not skirting the issue here, but my answer to that is, in today's world, I would probably start with something that's digital. But caveat of that is, but what's important to you, right? So maybe the craft side of it, maybe the precision part of it, or whatever. So kind of picking a decorating method to me is less important than what we just talked about over Two Regular Guys. Is kind of picking the niche, picking the why you're doing it, knowing your market. But like I said, in today's world, I would, if I didn't know anything else, I would definitely want to probably lean more towards the digital technologies. But that doesn't mean that, there's not a place, there's not a need for the more analog technologies, the embroidery and the screen print and those types of things. So.
Well, here's what I'll say is I also consider this not only what do you start with, but what you expand into.
Yeah.
And frequently for me, I got a lot of people who are embroidery, obviously, because it's what I do. And I actually did just answer this question for Nicole Rollander, who used to be the editor of Stitches, but she now does independent writing for a lot of the magazines and stuff. She asked about this kind of question as well. And I'm like, if you're doing embroidery now, then absolutely you want to get into some sort of digital print. However, it doesn't have to be DTG. It doesn't have to be the most expensive version. You can go white toner transfer. You can go, just plotter cut vinyl, classic heat press vinyl, single color stuff or couple color work. You can absolutely go heat press and a plotter and get some kind of printing in-house quickly. And that is still kind of digital. It's still something where they produce vector and vector cuts, and it's not the same kind of process that digitizing is. For me, I always feel like it depends on your market, because right now, if you're doing high-end golf shirts, there is no amount of printing that's going to make it work out. You got to do embroidery because people want a higher end product. Selling into, say, like that specific market, you're selling into bridal. Yeah, you can do a lot of heat press printing, but there's probably going to want, or monogramming, you're going to be doing some embroidery. That's just, if that's where your market's at, you got to know what people want, what they'll pay for. But definitely, I think doing digital and small run one-off is huge right now, as well as stuff we talked about in Two Other Guys and stuff I'm going to talk about today on the Take Up. Fulfillment. Fulfillment is huge. Providing solutions is huge. Customization, personalization is huge. So I'm with you on that, where it's like, and digital plays well into that. And any form of digital, any form of kind of on demand will help that. And also single head embroidery. If you guys are thinking, whenever somebody says like, I'm going to sell my single head and then buy a multi-head machine, keep the single head, buy a multi-head machine, because you always want the ability to do one.
Yeah, I like that. There you go. So, so I wanted to answer that. If you got what other questions do you guys have, let's keep those coming if you're tuning in live here. So let's just cover what Karen had here. She said, I finally stopped producing my print magazine. I've gone to a digital edition format along with online article posts. Having a tough time moving from the monthly print mindset, and so are my regular print readers. However, the advertising has gone to Facebook and other venues. We have a 25-year brand, but I need to do video podcast. However, it feels like I'm starting my career over. And if I keep copying, I'm going to cover your faces up.
Good enough. Nobody wants to see our faces.
Yeah, sorry. Nobody tuned in for our faces, but
true.
Yeah, so Karen and I have talked quite a bit about these topics in general, and so probably covered some of this, but kind of understanding, this is the same thing though. You've got a niche, you've got those folks, and yes, there's some holdouts and that type of thing, but the advertising has gone to Facebook in some way, but I think there's also that side of people that are just not seeing the results from Facebook because they're not standing out. So they need to go to a place that's in a niche and find some way to collaborate. Again, it's not going to be putting that into a print magazine anymore. But what is the way that you can collaborate, right? You've got the audience. So how do you connect the people that have the products that want to sell to that audience? And again, and that works for everybody in every business, right? When things change, it has, the changes that it's not that things have gone away. It's the specific thing that you were doing at the time has gone away, but that doesn't mean that there's still not a market there that you can service and help with. It just is a matter of getting into the weeds, trying new things, facing your fear, taking action. I mentioned that Karen and I know each other through the success principles. So she knows all these things. I'm just basically reciting success principles right now.
Well, but I mean, it's true. And sometimes it's going to feel like that. Sometimes you really are going to feel like you're reinventing yourself, and it can be the case. I mean, here, case in point, I joined TikTok just to watch some stuff that other apparel decorators and creators have created. People found me there because I already have an audience and are following my no content page, waiting.
Nice.
So I will say this, that the thing is, if you're a content creator and you've had a magazine, you've already done the thing that's the hardest for everybody, which is starting and having a voice and creating content at all. Now it's just a matter of the medium. You can get on video. Trust us, we weren't video people. The podcast, Two Regular Guys, was an audio podcast for a long time. I believe me, I have a face for radio. I'm not, this is not the right, I definitely don't want to get up and dance, but at the same time, you've got a voice and you have something to say and you have people who are interested. They will find other ways to get with you. And truthfully, it's still good to write posts because then you got the readers. It's still good to do audio for the people who want to listen while do something else. It's still good to do video for the people who want to watch. Mix it up and you can find your mix that's right for your audience, but you probably will have to throw some stuff against the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it really does boil down to just taking a bunch of actions, as many actions as you can take, because you want to fail faster, right? You want to fail and use that fail as feedback to then, let's tweak this to try something else. And like you said, it is, and it's not necessarily trial and error. We throw that out there a lot, of this trial and error thing. It's more along the lines of test and measure. It's not trial and error, it's test and measure. But technically it feels like the same thing, right? So it boils down to that. And again, this holds true for any business, decorators, magazine producers, anybody. It comes down to how many actions can you take quickly enough to learn from the mistakes and keep moving forward. So,
well, I mean, and sometimes you follow your gut. I mean, there are times where you know what's going on, especially if you know your audience. Hey, like I said, your audience may not have any people who are watching TikToks or who are on particular channels. And if you absolutely know that, and if you feel very confident about that, and you've talked to some people, then going out to do that may not be for you. Though you also might find a new audience there too. It's worth trying things out once in a while and realizing that it's not fatal. Correct. As long as you don't go out there and my wife and I always call it writing your manifesto. We've had a few friends over the years who decide to write their manifesto, which is where it's like, I'm going to go out and say all the controversial stuff I've been holding in all at once. And they write their manifesto and then they disappear because they eventually, annihilate their goodwill with a certain group of people or something they didn't want to, they probably shouldn't have shared. As long as you don't do that, The big manifesto where you're coming for someone's teeth. Most of the time, if you go out and do the same kind of content you've been doing in a new way, and even if you say, hey, I'm trying this new thing, I want to see how it turns out, it's not fatal. And people don't hold it against you, and they think, and honestly, most people are proud of you for your bravery in trying something new.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the first thing to realize, is that you can get out there and do some stuff that feels out there, and truthfully, hey, there's other people doing it, or you wouldn't be thinking about it anyway. It's a lot safer than it feels.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Eric, even if I agree that, kind of understanding your audience and stuff like that is important. But if that manifesto is that important to you that you're willing to do that, you just have to hold on and realize that if you're turning people off, then you're going to have those people that
not,
But you have to be all in on it, right? You have to go. You have to go to the other side of that and be willing to take that risk. So, but Missy says, get uncomfortable to get the brain moving in new directions.
Sorry, I pushed a button too.
That's
now
right.
I'm so used to producing. I'm clicking.
Yeah. I push the buttons on this show, Eric.
Okay. I don't know what to do with my hands.
I know.
No.
So the other,
for sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go.
Finish your thought with that, and then because mine's way off.
I just absolutely wanted to say it's totally true. If something is your absolute purpose, go out there and live that purpose, hit it, and find that audience. But you do realize sometimes, that does mean you may get rid of the people who weren't on board with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's okay. I had a really great content creator that I loved. I was watching this guy who was renovating his house, and he's off in Germany, and he came out on his show, and all he was doing is house renovations, but he just happened to have his husband showed up, and he lost a bunch of subscribers. And I kind of felt bad for the guy, because his content was not political in any way, shape, or form, but he lost a bunch of subscribers. Thing is, those probably aren't his subscribers, because his real life is going to show that sometimes. So if that's true, sometimes you have to lose those subscribers. That's just how it is that they're not going to like him for him or understand his purpose down the road. Whatever you feel about it, everybody votes with their attention, just the way they say you vote with your dollar. So realize that that's sometimes the case, and sometimes that's for the best. So you can be more authentic to, what you want to do with the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that happens is feedback, right? It's just, being able to step back from the ego and understand what that feedback actually means, right? It's stop taking it personal and understand what the feedback means and move on from there. So,
for sure.
So again, I said my question was kind of way off base here, but you mentioned TikTok. And then I knew that you had a little issue where you'd hurt your knee. So my question is,
yes, I did.
Were you testing? Were you trying some dance moves out for TikTok?
No. I have extra COVID weight on. I had lost a bunch of weight, and then I gained a bunch back, and I was trying to exercise, and I went too hard, too fast, and way messed up a tendon in my patella. And so really hurt myself and was laid up. Howling pain. So that's all it was. I was trying to get back to working and
I feel like the story's better.
If jumped in too hard.
Okay. All right. Well, it makes sense, but I would go with the story that you were trying some new TikTok dance moves, and that's how you hurt your knee. I'm going to actually spread that.
I wish. I wish I were that cool. No, my idiot self decided that I was going to go, do some high kicking routine stuff that I did from back in my way kiddo martial arts stuff, and running with high knees, and I wrecked a knee immediately like an idiot.
That happens. Hey,
no warm up, right into the hardest stuff that I usually do.
That's what we do. That's how it goes. Yep.
Jumped right in.
Nice.
Still not fatal.
Still not fatal.
But not fun.
Yeah.
But not fun.
Mike says self-ostracization is bad, but if you don't have at least a couple haters, you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely. Oh, totally. I said this on the take up recently. I had somebody who jumped in the comments and was like, too cerebral, painful to listen to, horrible. And I'm like, same guy has said the same thing on a couple of my other shows. And I kind of was like, hey man, I guess I'm not your guy. Yeah. But it took a while for me to get there. I felt bad. I really felt bad. It got under my skin, and it took me a minute to just go, okay, yeah, I'm pretty heady, guys. I'm going to think about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's going to be how it is.
That's who you are, right? That's who's attracted to you, and who you're attracted to too.
Totally.
All right. So Ramona says, I agree with Aaron. It was a TikTok challenge.
Yeah, you won't see me dancing like a cat girl. That's just not happening.
See, you have Terry getting the Erich thing started. I'm going to now start spreading this. Eric got hurt doing a TikTok challenge thing. So
I might just go do a TikTok challenge and make everybody right for fun. Why not?
Yeah, there we go.
I got to get over myself.
There you go.
I'm very worried about being on that kind of camera.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Martha says,
love it. Yeah.
famous baseball player said, they don't boo nobodies, right?
That's fantastic. And that's one of those things. First, they don't take you seriously, then they start to hate you, and then you win. That's you got attention is not always the best, but yeah, I mean, I'll say this, that the more that you're out there, people are going to, you're going to have somebody who disagree with you. Realize that it's the minority generally, and you'll look at your numbers and realize, okay, one person's upset, but 1,000 people are here. Why am I listening to the one person more than the others?
Yeah,
it's old school evolutionary stuff. We're meant to pick out the danger and look for it, because if we were being chased by a lion, that would make a lot of sense. That it doesn't matter if there's 1,000 other people who are safe. The lion is still dangerous.
Yeah,
it's not real though. It's not real.
Exactly. All right. So Aaron says, haters gonna hate. And
sometimes, yeah.
Mike says, I took the TikTok challenge, or the tic tac challenge. I passed. But did you take the tic tac toe challenge?
There's no tic tac.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know. Aaron says, you've been living rent free in their mind. Like that.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Let's see here.
Brian's got a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we do Brian, and we'll go back up to Karen?
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. So with regards to niches, I think your niche finds you. We used to call it a calling. If you cannot hear it, put yourself out there a bit further.
Absolutely. Here's my one huge statement on that. Show the kind of work you want to do.
Yep.
Get out there in your social media feeds, and the kind of work you really want to do, also the kind of work that pays. Show that work and show it as much as you can. Brian's right. Your niche will come to you if you show enough of it. You do got to be out there. You really do. You just keep yourself out there. You have to keep yourself out there. Keep making that work, but show the kind of work you want to do.
Yeah. That reminds me of one of my favorite stories to tell. I was doing a presentation at a live DAX, so this was a long time ago, right? 2 years ago or more. So I was doing a presentation there, and we were talking about, I think we were talking about niche, it was marketing or something to that effect. Sure. And after the class, a nice lady came up to me and she says, I've just really been struggling. I'm trying to get, I'm trying to do more embroidery, but all I get are these, she did like, adjustments to clothing and stuff like that. What the heck do you call that?
Tailoring.
Tailoring. Like yes. Tailoring stuff. And, I just something just seemed off to me.
Alterations.
With that. Alterations. Thank you. Yeah. She's like, I get all these alterations and I can't seem to shake it. And something just seemed off to me. And so I said, okay, well, show me your Facebook page. She pulls it up. Every single picture was some alteration that she had done. And I said, okay, well, let's look at this. And where is the stuff that you want to do? And she's like, well, I haven't got that work. So I don't have anything of that to show. And I'm like, whoa, stop. Nope. Not because you haven't got that work. Go do something, make something.
Yeah, make your own stuff.
Yeah,
make self-directed projects
and whatever, and then focus on that stuff. Put that stuff out there. And so I basically
in the design world. Yeah, the design world does that. Designers go make their own self-directed projects aimed at brands they would like to work for, and they show it.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. All right. Did we get to this? Oh, we're going to go back up to Karen's here. And then, so Karen says, Google News Initiative helped us with new tools for new resources so we can see what people are reading on our site and digital, but you guys have really encouraged me. Thank you. We've added audio to our digital magazine, just getting people to use the tech. Awesome advice. Thank you. Yep. Good.
And Missy had a good point. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for everybody commenting. Thank you.
Yep. Nan says, I agree 100%. Karen says, this is my calling, love what I do, and will make a living for 25 years, but times have really changed and I will pivot. It's messy, uncertain. Maybe I should take up selling shirts on my site. There you go.
There's nothing wrong with selling garments. We've done pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. Bill says, I'm so bummed that DAX Chicago got bumped to August. Yeah.
Bummed, but it's for the best.
Yeah. And my hope is that by the time August rolls around, that will also mean that things are going to look and feel a little bit different too. We'll be able to have a little more, because even if we were able to do this April event, I think there would be so many restrictions that it would just feel really awkward. Right. And maybe it'll still feel awkward. And I know for me personally, even now, you end up talking to somebody face to face and it's instinct, I stick my hand out and want to shake their hand or whatever. And how do you do that? So
I know. I mean, how can you really handle it if you can't